Hello loves, I never had the chance to show you how I made the dome of the rock, so let's go ahead and get started. My first mistake is that the dome of the rock is actually an octagon shape. But when I first looked at it, I only saw 3 sides on the front, so I assumed 6 altogether. I basically forgot about the 2 on the side. This is where mathematical engineering comes in. So I cut it into a 6-sided shape, a polygon. Anywho, I did want to be very generous with the filling since it's only a 2-layer cake, so I added the buttercream dam, added the custard, and then sealed that in. So while it sits in the fridge to firm up a little bit, I went ahead and started on the dome. Initially, I didn't think I would carve this much, but I realized that the cake was too small for the dome and it would look awkward in size. Kinda looks like a boobie. Anyways, I couldn't fill the cake either. I can only cover it in buttercream because if I filled it, then it wouldn't have that nice dome shaped. So I went ahead and iced this and then put it back in the fridge to firm up as well. Took this one right out and started icing it. I knew it was going to require a lot of patience because when a cake is shaped like this, it's very difficult to achieve very nice edges. So there was a lot of going around, smoothing the icing, filling in cracks, things like that. And this was basically just the first layer. I knew that I had to put it back in the fridge and then let it harden or firm up a little bit while I added another layer. So this time when I took it back out of the fridge, I went ahead and filled up those little nooks and crannies with extra cream and tried to straighten it up again. This is where I made my second mistake because I kind of just eyeballed it when I cut the cake. The sides are not even. What I should have done and what I recommend for everybody else to do is actually cut the shape on a piece of paper and use that as a template to cut the cake. But too late now. So anywho, I'm working on the dome top, which is actually slightly angled. If you take a look at the picture, do you see how it kind of slants? So I wanted to achieve that. Now the color is a little off, but so many different color variations when you Google these things. So I didn't want to do fondant. I wanted to do just cream. And I pretty much tried to smooth it out to the best of my ability. I knew it wasn't going to show too much once I added the dome. And the top also had these like lines on the roof. So I just used a triangle edge smoother to give it those ridges. Now on to the edible images, which I used my edible printer to go ahead and cut these out. Believe it or not, it's pretty hard to find a nice, clean, clear shot of the actual Dome of the Rock so I can cut out nice images. And this is where the mathematical engineering should have been placed into this cake because had I really checked the actual dimensions and made sure it was all even, these would have connected perfectly. But alas, live and learn. So the dome itself is actually elevated. You can actually see it in this picture. So I just wanted to use a couple of foam boards because I didn't have cake and then put that in between the dome and the actual cake itself. Just to make sure that it didn't squish the buttercream, I added a straw for stability to hold it up. I also printed out edible images for that, which again, very hard to find good images for. And now I'm starting to work on the dome part. I needed to cover this in fondant because I wanted to get the shape of the tiles. Very hard to do to make sure you get each and every single one very evenly. So I just took this roller tool that I had and I kind of just went around the entire cake and indented the lines in. Very, very carefully, making sure that you kind of have them all evenly spaced. Then I went ahead and did the sides, which was kind of difficult to do. Finally, the fun part of painting it gold. Such a beautiful color. I use Truly Mad Plastic brand. Technically, it's not edible, but you won't die. You'll probably just poop gold. So I always tell my customers, just peel that off. And I can use a different brand, but the gold is awful. Most cake artists I know just go with this one. So I added some cream on the top of the dome thing to stick the dome to it. And that gives you the complete look of the entire cake. I sold this for charity for the people of Gaza. As you can see, a few mistakes as it turns around, not perfectly even, but hey, you live and learn, right? Thank you so much for watching. And as my nephew would say, hit that like and subscribe button.